Ribeye. The ribeye comes from the rib section of the cow, specifically ribs 6 through 12. The muscle here does almost no work during the animal's life, which means the meat stays tender and develops an unusual amount of intramuscular fat. That fat is called marbling, and in a ribeye it runs in thin white threads through the entire cut rather than sitting in a thick layer around the outside. When heat hits those fat threads, they melt into the surrounding muscle and baste the steak from the inside. No other cut does this as consistently. There are two distinct sections inside a ribeye: the spinalis dorsi, a crescent-shaped cap of highly marbled meat that sits along the outer edge, and the longissimus, the larger central eye. The spinalis is widely considered the most flavorful part of the cow. Butchers who break it off and sell it separately call it the ribeye cap, and it commands a serious premium. A bone-in ribeye is called a cowboy steak.
When the rib bone is Frenched and extended past 12 inches, it becomes a tomahawk.
12.
New York strip. The New York strip comes from the short loin, a section of the back that does minimal work. It sits just behind the ribs on the opposite side of the tenderloin. The muscle involved, the longissimus dorsi, is the same one found in the ribeye, but here it lacks the surrounding fat cap and heavy marbling. The result is leaner, firmer, and more texturally assertive than a ribeye. It has a distinctive fat strip running along one edge that crisps up when properly seared. Strip steaks have a tighter grain and chew with more resistance, which many people prefer over the softer, fattier texture of a ribeye. The same cut goes by different names depending on where you are. In Kansas City, they call it the Kansas City strip. In Australia, it's a sirloin. In the UK, it's an entrecote. The name New York strip comes from Delmonico's restaurant in Manhattan, which served it in the 1800s and made it the defining steakhouse cut of the city. Filet Mignon. The filet mignon is the most tender cut on the animal because the psoas major, the muscle it comes from, does almost nothing. It runs along the spine and never bears weight or exerts force. The result is a muscle so soft that it can be cut with a fork. It comes from the narrow end of the tenderloin, and because the tenderloin itself is a small muscle, there isn't much of it per animal. That scarcity is what drives the price. What the fillet gives up in fat, it compensates for with texture. Marbling is minimal, which means the flavor is considerably milder than a ribeye or strip. Many chefs wrap it in bacon or serve it with a sauce specifically to add richness the meat itself doesn't have. Beef Wellington exists largely because of this problem. The tenderloin is enclosed in a pastry crust with a layer of mushroom duxelle and prosciutto to give the lean meat the fat and flavor it lacks on its own. T-bone and Porterhouse. The T-bone and Porterhouse are essentially the same cut, separated by one measurement. Both are cross-sections from the short loin that include a T-shaped bone with the strip on one side and a portion of the tenderloin on the other. The difference is the size of the tenderloin section. The USDA requires the tenderloin portion of a porterhouse to be at least 1¼ inches wide. A T-bone can have a smaller tenderloin down to ½ an inch. In practice, this means a porterhouse is always cut from the rear of the short loin, where the tenderloin is wider, and a T-bone comes from further forward, where the tenderloin narrows and eventually disappears. Ordering one means you're eating two different steaks simultaneously, each with its own texture, fat content, and ideal cooking time. The strip side can handle higher heat longer. The tenderloin side overcooks faster. Getting both right on one bone is the challenge. Sirloin. The sirloin sits just behind the short loin toward the rear of the animal. It's a larger, broader cut that gets divided into several subcuts depending on how it's butchered. Top sirloin is the most common steakhouse version. It's lean, moderately tender, and significantly cheaper than ribeye or strip. The sirloin sits further back than the short loin, in a region where the muscles do slightly more work, which is why it's firmer and less marbled. but the flavor is strong and beefy, partly because the harder-working muscles develop more myoglobin. Bottom sirloin is a different, tougher section mostly used for roasts and tri-tip. The name sirloin supposedly comes from a story about King James I of England knighting a particularly excellent piece of beef, dubbing it sirloin. Food historians have dismissed this as apocryphal. The actual origin is almost certainly from the Old French word surlonge, meaning above the loin.
Flank steak. The flank steak comes from the abdominal muscles of the cow, a region that works hard and produces a lean, tough, intensely flavored cut. The muscle fibers run visibly along the length of the steak in long, parallel lines. Those fibers are what make flank steak chewy if you cut it the wrong way. Sliced against the grain, perpendicular to those lines, the fibers shorten and the steak becomes significantly more tender. Cooked beyond medium and sliced with the grain, it turns into leather. Flank steak is almost always marinated before cooking, not to tenderize it chemically, but to add flavor to a cut that benefits from extra seasoning. It's the cut behind fajitas, London broil, and most Korean barbecue preparations involving thinly sliced beef. Because it's lean and large, it's also one of the most affordable cuts at a steakhouse, despite being genuinely delicious when handled correctly. Skirt steak. Skirt steak comes from the plate, the section of the underbelly between the brisket and the flank. There are two versions, the outside skirt and the inside skirt. The outside skirt is the more prized of the two. It's thicker, has more marbling, and a stronger, beefy flavor than almost any other cut at this price point. The inside skirt is thinner, chewier, and more widely available because most outside skirt gets purchased by restaurants before it reaches retail. Like flank, skirt has long, visible muscle fibers and absolutely must be sliced against the grain. The distinction matters even more here because the fibers are coarser. Skirt steak cooks fast and needs high heat. It's the traditional cut for carne asada and the original fajita, before the term became a generic description for any grilled beef. The word fajita comes from the Spanish word faja, meaning belt or strip, a reference to the cut's long, narrow shape. Hanger steak. The hanger steak hangs between the rib and the loin, attached to the diaphragm. Each animal has exactly one, which is why it's scarce and why most of it historically went to butchers who kept it for themselves rather than selling it. In France, it's called the onglet, and in French butcher shops, it was never listed on the menu board. It was simply understood to be what the butcher ate. The hanger has a rich, mineral, almost offal-adjacent flavor that comes from its proximity to the kidney. It's more intensely beefy than a strip or sirloin, with a coarser grain and a slight gaminess that people either love immediately or find surprising. There's a tough central sinew running down the middle that's usually removed before selling. Cook it hot and fast, serve it medium rare or less. Like skirt and flank, resting and cutting against the grain are non-negotiable.
Flat iron.
The flat iron was barely known until the early 2000s, when meat scientists at the University of Nebraska and Florida State University published research on how to properly butcher it. It comes from the top blade of the shoulder, a muscle called the infraspinatus. The problem had always been a thick band of connective tissue running through the center of the muscle. Cut through that tissue and you get the top blade steak, a tough, sinewy piece that nobody wanted. Cut around it by slicing the muscle horizontally into two separate steaks, and you get the flat iron, the second most tender cut on the animal after the tenderloin. It has good marbling, a relatively mild flavor, and a price that reflects the fact that people still haven't fully caught on. It's one of the best value cuts at a steakhouse when it appears on the menu.
Tomahawk.
The tomahawk is a bone-in ribeye with the rib bone left intact and Frenched, meaning the meat and fat